Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. So as you can tell by the title today, I wanted to attack this this saying that the Bible is a very controversial book. In my opinion, I think if you're a viewer of the channel, you know that I'm a Christian. I'm a biblical Christian, and there's always a copy of the Bible not far from me. But in that, the biggest piece I think I've learned throughout my entire lifetime is that the Bible is so controversial, right? And I would say this around that. One, there's one of two options. Either one, you believe that the Bible is the Word of God, and so then that's not controversial to you at all. It's a directive. It's how we should live our life. When you pray, you should read the Bible to get those answers and to get better feedback from your prayers. And the Bible serves as basically a operator's manual for this life that we live. That's number one. The other option, version 2, is that you don't think that the Bible is the Word of God, and you think it's just a book that's been, around for thousands of years, and it means nothing to you and impacts nothing to you. If that's the case, then so be that. That's your choice, and that's what that is. So, being a Christian, that choice, that second choice, it means very specific things to me when someone chooses that path. It's not my job or any other Christian's job to beat somebody into submission, and salvation doesn't work that way anyway. If you want to be a Christian and you want to have salvation through Christian faith, you have to choose that of your own free will. Nobody can force that down your throat or make you take that path. So in that, the Bible then is not controversial at all. It's either one, it's a path and an instruction manual and a guidebook of wisdom and suggestions around how you should live the life and the laws that you should hold to on living a certain type of life. Or it is nothing. It's just another book on many shelves in a library. So that is a brief video today talking about the controversy of the Bible. I'll say this to you. People often try to combat the Bible with science, and when they do that, they don't read the Bible and they don't look at the science and how science changes over the decades. But in the 60s and the 70s, there was the polar ice caps were freezing, and we were going into a new ice age. And in the 80s and early 90s, there was holes in the ozone layer, and the ozone layer was going to be gone by the year 2000. And in the 2000s, there wasn't enough oil, and the world is drying up of oil. And then the water consideration was also a concern. And then the most recent is global warming and all of that. So we've gone from in the 60s and 70s saying that we're heading into another ice age to now saying that global warming is going to get to the point that the polar ice caps are going to melt, and then the world is going to be flooded, which the Bible actually says the world's not going to flood again as a whole. But if you don't believe that, then that is what it is. So my point is, science and the viewpoint of science in the world changes regularly. Just this week, they found another tiny tiny bipedal creature's bones, and I'm sure now they're trying to put that into the suggestion around the tree of life for the human nature, human family, as they always do. Which in actuality, it would most likely be a bipedal that was not in any evolutionary chain tied to humans, just a different animal. And I think that's interesting too around evolution and those things too. People want to argue with the Bible, but in the Bible it says to God, 1,000 years is a day and a day is 1,000 years. So basically evolution falls within, or certain types of evolution fall within what the guidance gives around creation, etc. So I say all this to say science changes with the generation. Science changes with the decade. The belief around science and how well we should trust it also changes around the decade. I think we learned a lot here in COVID with what could be trusted in science and what's suggested as science. The Bible has stood for over 2,000 years, right? And prior to that, the Old Testament stood for a prior 3,000 years. So one thing is very flippant and another thing is not. So when you're trying to decide what you believe in and what you don't, that may be something to consider. So that's a short video for today. I just heard something yesterday about it being controversial, and I'm going to say, no, it's not. It's one of two things for you, and depending on what you choose, that's what matters. I'm Ben. Be good.